Good morning again. Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing another subject to you that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and that is the subject of corporal punishment from a parent to a child, spanking, that is. And there are some conflicting views on this, of course. I have experience as a step parent and being a child also myself at one point, and I'm familiar on both ends of that giving and taking of it. So I want to weigh in with my 2 cents for what they're worth. First of all, and this goes for everybody, not just kids, not just parents, but people are individuals. That is, we are different. We have different characteristics, different attitudes, potentials, aptitudes for learning, adaptation, propensity for misbehavior. We are all completely different. And this is super important to keep in mind, because one child does not equal another child. And some children respond differently to different things. Go figure. Forgive the expression. So there's not a one-size-fits-all parenting model. It's never, ever going to be appropriate for everybody. Just like a one-size-fits-all set of rules is always going to be unfair to somebody. It's either going to empower somebody unfairly, or it's going to limit somebody unfairly, or both. So that's a digression. But to be specific about spanking, to get back to it, there are easy ways to do things and hard ways to do things. There are also boundaries to enforce, whether you're, an adult confronting another adult, or vice versa, or if it's between adults and parents and children, because there are still, calls for self-defense, and it doesn't need to be life-threatening. It just needs to be potentially traumatic. So here, there's a point where human beings feel the reflex, and if you're human, you know what I'm talking about, where somebody's perhaps agitating you and it's ongoing, and then the question might become, at what point do you become physical about it? Where do you draw the line? Most people don't struggle too bad with that point. Normal, healthy people, they take a minute to build up to it, and then when they respond, it's not extreme. It's not out of proportion to what's happening. And this is the exact same thing that happens with spanking. So there's a line, eventually, if it gets crossed enough, the response should logically become firmer and firmer up until there's a point of self-defense where, if the parent refuses to spank, they're damaging themselves mentally. And that's kind of the point where it's not even up to you anymore as a parent. Your duty and responsibility is also to yourself. So it's not so much about the child every time. It's about the family. It's about the environment. It's about the parent keeping some kind of self-respect and ability to manage things, because without that, the child's also in jeopardy. So sometimes spanking is not just for behavior control. It's to maintain an atmosphere and an environment that is safe and healthy for everybody. And it does get rolled out too much. So I want to finish this video on a point where the easy part is being an authoritarian sometimes. And we can lean on that, can't we? Especially if we're distracted or intoxicated. That's unfortunate when that happens. It's so much easier to just wave a stick and say, remember what I gave you last time, but that's lazy. Let's be honest. It's just garden variety being lazy, and you're not really solving the problem. All you're doing is you're letting the stick solve the problem. The challenge and the opportunity is to figure out how to get that behavior that you want without the spanking. And sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes there's work involved. Sometimes it takes days or weeks or months to get there. But the goal should be to do it with love. Okay, this is obvious. This is not confusing, hopefully. The goal should be to invest the time and effort to get it done properly. Don't do anything half-assed. Why would you? Parenting especially. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great day. Don't beat your kids. You might get beat up yourself. Heck, it happens. Reach out with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thanks.